Hello and welcome to Kirly-sue's Plant-Based Kitchen with me, your host, Kirly-sue. And we will be talking on my show all the time about all things plant-based or anything relating to food and plant-based food. If you want to make any comments or send a message, you can text us on 82228. That's 82228. Starting your message with the word hope. And you leave a space and just tell me your question or your message, and that will come straight through to me from the technical fab people in the studio. So again, if you want to send a message or ask a question to me or my guests coming up, text 82228, starting your message with the word hope, leave a space, and then give us your question or a message for us with regards to the show. So today's guest is the lovely Aysha from a company called, I think I'm going to need your help with pronouncing it, Aysha.
It's called Strpd.
Strpd. Okay, yes, it's just got some unique spelling, Strpd. And today we're talking about Tigernut flour. So if you're like me, you're not even going to be able to pretend that you know or have heard of it before. To be honest, I'm quite new to learning about Tigernut flour, and I think earlier today was the first time I actually baked with Tigernut flour. So I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about Tigernut flour. So Aysha, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be involved with Tigernut flour.
Sure, of course. So just like you, actually, I hadn't heard of Tigernuts myself until late 2018. So we have a family business that runs out of Nigeria, and so Tigernuts are grown out in West Africa as well as in parts of Spain. Mm-hmm. And they've been consumed for many generations because of their incredible health properties. And as someone who's always been very into health and fitness, have always tried to eat a clean diet, I was quite surprised. I'd never heard of Tigernuts. Nice. So I discovered them when I was in Nigeria, and a quick Google search, and I was pretty shocked with their health benefits. So unlike their name, Tigernuts are not actually a nut. No. Which can be a bit confusing, but it means it's great for anyone with nut allergies. It's not a grain either, so anyone on a paleo diet, anyone avoiding grains, can eat Tigernuts freely. It's actually a tuber, so it's grown underground, just like a sweet potato. Mm-hmm. And it's full of, it's packed with fiber, in particular resistant starch, which is very good for your gut. It's a prebiotic which aids digestion and just keeps you full for longer. I myself have always suffered from gut issues, so discovering something which was targeted to kind of your gut health got me intrigued. So I started trying Tigernuts in the milk form in Nigeria, and really loved it. Mm-hmm. And I tried it in the flour, which is our first product, Tigernut flour, and being a grain-free, nut-free alternative. Mm-hmm. Was something quite exciting.
This is amazing because I'd not heard of it before. Is it a carb? Is it like, some people try to avoid carbs. So would that come under as a carb or no?
It's a carb in the same way a sweet potato or a cassava is.
Ah, that's good news because sweet potato is a good carb. So
exactly.
Oh, that's brilliant. So what different things can you use Tigernut flour to make? So I'll just show you, I've opened your packet. So this is your Tigernut flour.
The closed
packet. Lovely. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And I used one of your recipe cards and I made some chocolate chip grain-free cookies.
They look delicious.
Thank you. So I just... and they look like, shop bought, if I might say so myself. And tasting them, they taste really nice because at first, being somebody who's on social media, I get sent a lot of stuff. And everyone who sends me stuff tells me it's going to taste amazing. Some of it does. And some of it must taste amazing to the manufacturer, but not to me. So I was wondering how it's going to taste. But these taste really good. And I like that it's not regular flour. Then I don't feel so bad having, you know, I'm not saying I'm eating all of these, but I don't feel so bad having so many. So how did you get the idea, or how did you know that this would be a good idea to have as a business?
So my zodiac sign is a Leo. So when I find something I love, I just want to share it with everyone.
Okay.
This was something that someone who's, tries to be healthy at least 80% of the time, but still really loves a good treat. This was something that I felt really spoke to me, and I thought it would speak to a lot of people who like to indulge and like, a sweet treat every so often, maybe even every day,
Yeah.
but still want to remain healthy. And as you might have noticed with the cookies, the tiger nut flour itself is naturally sweet.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I should have put a little less sugar in it, because I see what you mean, because even for me, who has a real sweet tooth, yes, I can see that the tiger nut flour in itself is quite sweet. Yeah, which is really great.
Exactly. We have feedback from customers as well as bakers that when they bake with the tiger nut flour, because it's got a very naturally sweet taste, they can reduce the amount of sugar or alternative sweetener that they use in their recipes. Mm-hmm. So we work with one specific baker who creates beautiful, delicious coconut and pistachio cakes. Mm-hmm. And she reduced the sugar that she uses in her cakes by 80%.
Wow.
When she switched to tiger nut flour.
That's really, really amazing. So is tiger nut flour, I don't know if this is something you would know, good for people who are diabetic?
So it actually is, yes. Oh. So it's high, as well as being naturally sweet in flavor, it's also high in a specific amino acid, which helps balancing your blood sugar levels. So tiger nuts themselves are very high in this amino acid. So even just eating raw tiger nuts are good for people with diabetics. Obviously, when you're using the flour and you're baking with it, you've got to control the other ingredients. But the flour itself is very good for people with diabetics.
So where has this tiger nut flour been all along? So many people who are diabetic. This is going to be amazing. And it looks nice as well. Because I wasn't sure what to expect when you said tiger nut flour. I thought, what's a tiger nut and what's the flour going to look like? But it kind of just looks like just nice, healthy flour, because it's got like little flexes of brown in it. So it just looks like a nice, good, healthy flour, which it is, which is really great. Okay, so can you use it for savory dishes as well as sweet?
Yes, you can. So it does have a naturally sweet flavor. But a lot of people like that in some of their savory dishes as well. Mm-hmm. So we've had customers baking loaves of grain-free seeded bread. Mm-hmm. Tortillas is a popular one because, it's sometimes quite nice to have that contrasting flavor.
Yeah.
And then there's an Indian dish that a customer has made with it, which is supposed to be slightly sweet in flavor, but also spicy. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of like a flatbread, but that tastes very good when you have it with a cup of tea or something like that.
This is amazing. So, where would you buy tiger nut flour? Is it available in major supermarkets, or is it just from your?
So we launched about 6 weeks ago, direct to consumer on our website. Mm-hmm. So that's www.strpd.com. Mm-hmm. And recently, just from this last weekend, got stocked in Revital health food store. Mm-hmm. So we're on their website as well as their major stores across the country.
Okay, and this bag is 400 grams, and what does that retail at?
That retails at $6.49.
Okay, but it goes quite a long way. Okay, this is really great. So it's,
and as you see on the bag, you mentioned you weren't sure what tiger nuts or tiger nut flour would look like. So you can see the actual what nuts look like, and I've got a few here to kind of show you.
People have tiger nuts. Yeah, they kind of look like weird chickpeas, but not, it's about the size and color of a chickpea, but then it's got a few other little shapes on it as well. This is really good. So I wouldn't have thought of sourcing something from Nigeria to sell in the UK, because my family is from Jamaica originally. My parents are from Jamaica. So what brought you to have the clever idea of sourcing something from Nigeria?
So because we've been doing business there, when I first discovered Tigernut whilst I was working out there, the original plan was to launch a Tigernut-based product or Tigernut-based business in Nigeria itself. But actually with the superfood properties and just knowing how many health benefits you get from it, I thought it was more suitable for a market like the UK.
Right. Okay. So what are some other health benefits of Tigernut flour, would you say, or nutritional benefits?
So they're packed with vitamins and nutrients. They've got 3 times the potassium levels as banana. Yeah, which is pretty interesting. 4 times the amount of magnesium as an avocado, and the same amount of iron as red meat.
This is amazing, because sometimes people think you have to have red meat. I mean, I'm a vegan, so they think you have to have red meat to get lots of iron and so forth. So that's really good, particularly for our vegan viewers, which majority, well, not all, but some will be, for them to know that you can get iron from other sources as well. This is really good. So what are have you had any challenges with regards to Tigernut flour in terms of people being a bit skeptical or anything like that about it as a product?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge we faced is just the lack of awareness. So, the market's not educated on what Tigernuts are. And the name itself is a little bit confusing because it does suggest that it is another nut. Mm-hmm. So I think, the biggest challenge is just getting the word out there and educating customers on this kind of new superfood.
Yes, because I Googled it before the show, and it's actually a root vegetable, and it has another name as well, yellow nutsedge.
Yeah, it's got a few different names. So in Spain, where it was also has been consumed for generations, it's known as chufa. And they use it to make something called horchata, which is a kind of sweet, milky, dairy-free, milky drink.
Say the name of it in Spain again. Sorry, we lost it.
So I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but
it's okay.
UFA, chufa.
Okay. Right. So it comes under. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, it's been consumed in Spain for generations, and in West Africa as well, where what I mentioned, they talk about tigernuts and their aphrodisiac properties. Oh. So that's a big benefit that's talked about a lot in Nigeria.
Okay. Well, this is very interesting. So what other recipes do you have? So we've got cookies, and you sent me one. It was cinnamon muffins. So I've got, so the grain-free cookies. Mm-hmm. And then there was the paleo pancakes. So it's lots of different things that you can make. And then the cinnamon muffins as well, which is really nice. What else can you make with this flour?
So you can actually just replace it in any recipe 1-to-1 with regular flour. Okay. So any of your favorite recipes, the only thing that we recommend is to reduce the amount of sugar or sweetener, because if you do replace it 1-to-1, you're just going to get a much sweeter outcome. So it's healthier to reduce the sugar anyways. Whatever you enjoy baking.
Okay. So the name of your company is Strpd, but it's spelled slightly differently to the regular word strip. Tell me about how you chose the name for your company.
So the name Strpd really stands for stripped of all nasties. So the core one of the core values for our company, with the Tigernut flour and with any future product launches, is that we want the products to be stripped of all nasties, preservatives, artificial flavors, and just give you the purest, cleanest form of the ingredient. So this started because before launching the flour, I was working on developing some plant-based milks with the Tigernuts, and it's difficult to get a longer shelf life product with ingredients that don't have stabilizers or preservatives added to it. So a lot of the plant-based milks on the market have to have other ingredients. So the development phase was very important to me, to make sure that we came up with a formula that was shelf stable, that didn't have these additives. So that's how the name Strpd came about. The kind of odd spelling of it is, the way it's written, it could look like striped.
Yes, yeah. Like the tiger. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So whether it's stripped or striped, they both refer to Tigernuts and the kind of values of our brand.
Okay. So do you, apart from the Tigernut flour, do you sell any other products as well?
So we put the plant-based milks, which we finally got the formula which has no added artificial nasties, but we put them on hold because of COVID-19 and the change in consumer habits.
Right.
So those will be launching, as soon as there's a little bit more clarity, but aiming for early next year.
Okay. So what sort of diet do you have personally? Are you a vegan yourself, or do you have a plant-based diet or a particular diet?
Yeah, I try to eat plant-based where possible.
Okay.
For most of my life, I've avoided dairy and gluten, highly intolerant to both. And but I do love fish, so I'm not 100% vegan.
It's okay, no judgment, just wondering. Okay. So you're pescatarian, you would say?
I'm pescatarian, but I avoid eggs and dairy, so
okay.
I'm a little bit more on the vegan side.
Yeah. Well, I'm a vegan, but I'm a happy vegan. I'm not an angry vegan, and I don't have issues with people who are not vegan, because at the end of the day, it's personal choice. It's what individuals choose to have. So it's okay, because sometimes people say, oh, I don't want to offend you, but I eat this. And I think, well, it's not going in my mouth. you choose what you want to eat. Because in what I do as a business, I present people with the facts, and then the choice is then up to them. And I don't have an emotional attachment to what they choose to do, because at the end of the day, it's a choice. I'm not here to dictate to anyone, you must be vegan, you must be anything in particular. So with regards the diet, it's interesting because Adventist Radio is owned by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which I am of that religion. It's a Christian religion, and it encourages people to eat healthy, which is why your product was perfect for our show, to come and talk about it. So we're not, as a religion, we don't say to people, you have to be vegan. We're not told you have to be vegan or vegetarian. It's just encouraged. So there's a lot of Seventh-day Adventist people who are vegan and vegetarian. Not all. Some eat meat, some eat fish, but only certain types of meat and fish. Similar to the Jewish diet, where you only eat certain parts of the cow, don't have pork and things like that. So it's a similar diet. So we're very food conscious, and we always look for healthy ways, because we believe in healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit. And I think that's, even if you're not religious, that's something that you can adhere to, because if your mind isn't clear and your body isn't healthy, it doesn't help you as an individual. So it's really good to hear about something different, because there's all sorts of different wonderful things that you can eat, and variety obviously is a spice of life. So it's really great to hear about something that I would probably have passed it on the shelf and seen it and thought, oh, that's interesting, but not have known much about it. So today is an education, because I believe every day is a school day. So today is an education not just for myself, but everybody listening, and also for those who will be watching this as well, about Tigernut flour and its benefits. So it's available, obviously, direct to consumer. The actual tiger nuts themselves, can you buy those in stores?
You can. So there's certain health food stores that do sell them. You know, if you go on Amazon, you'll probably be able to find some tiger nuts. They're not readily available or spoken about much at all, but I think that's going to change.
I think so. I predict in the future, the same way you can get spelt flour quite easily, buckwheat flour, and all these different flours that half of them are, when I was a child, as far as I'm concerned, didn't exist or definitely weren't popular. I think in the not too distant future, Tigernut flour is going to be something that is quite common.
Exactly what you said. I think, you know, we're all about making things available for consumers who can't eat the original version. So like I said, I've been dairy free for many years, way before almond milk came on the market. And I used to really struggle going to coffee shops, and soy was the only alternative, and it wasn't really everywhere. So just being able to have options today just makes our lives a lot easier. You know, we have customers who haven't had a cookie in 3 years because they're highly intolerant to grains and have led grain-free diets. And we have other customers who can't eat nuts because they're allergic to them, but also are gluten and dairy free. So it's just really nice that there's a product out there that everyone can have.
So for those who haven't had a cookie in 3 years, there is an answer. Tigernut flour. I used it to make the cookies today, and I tagged your Instagram account. I think you saw as well. I took some pictures, because obviously there's no point me saying, oh, this sounds great, unless I've used it myself. And I'm pleasantly surprised. And it's really good. I like the way the texture is nice. It's got the chocolate chips in it. It looks nice, tastes nice. And the health benefits. What more could you want, really, in a product? This is really great. So where can we find you on social media?
So on Instagram, the handle is @stripped, @strp.d. And it's the same handle on Facebook.
Okay. Are you anywhere else on social media?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right. No, that's really good. So thank you so much for joining us today. That's been really great to learn about Tigernut flour and its benefits, and how this ingredient is really great for people who are gluten intolerant. If you're diabetic, it's just a really good, healthy flour. So check out Strpd and get yourself some Tigernut flour. I think it will be really good. And if you do, please tag me, Kirly-sue, on Instagram, and tag Strpd as well if you make any recipes with it. I made these cookies earlier today, so later on in the show, I'm going to talk you through the recipe. Actually, let me do that now. So the recipe, it's actually really easy to follow. So these are called grain-free cookies. And it's not too much ingredients. It's just 1 cup of Tigernut flour, a 1/3 cup of coconut sugar. If you haven't got coconut sugar, can you use regular sugar? Or would you use
You can use brown sugar. I sometimes use maple syrup.
Yes. Okay. And then it's 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon sea salt, 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. I used vegan chocolate chips. 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And it's really easy. Even if you can't bake for love nor money, you can follow this recipe. It's really easy. So you preheat your oven, you mix together all your dry ingredients until there's no lumps, and then in a separate bowl, mix together all your wet ingredients until they're combined. Then you mix the wet and dry ingredients together, form them into some little balls, put them on a baking tray, and that should make about 9 or 10 equal cookies. Put it on a baking tray for 15 minutes or until golden brown. Take them out. Don't eat it yet. Wait 10 minutes. Wait 10 minutes so that they can set, and then jump in, and they taste really good. And this is actually something I think you could make with your kids as well.
Yeah, so actually another benefit of tiger nuts that we didn't speak about is the nutritional profile has a similar macro nutrient ratio to breast milk. So
Really?
it's great for kids, toddlers, kids of all ages.
This is really good. So if you have kids, that's a really good flour to get them. It's good for kids to learn about different things and, you know, learn about variety. So it doesn't have to always be one way. So it's good for them to be open up to different things. So I think this is really great. So I really appreciate you coming onto the show today to tell us all about Tigernut flour. It's been really good. It's been really good to hear from you.
If you want any more recipes, you can find them on my Instagram page or on the website.
Okay, and your website again is?
It's www.strpd.com.
Okay, and stripped is without the I.
Exactly, so it's strpd.com.
Yes. Yeah, so without any vowels. Okay, so that's quite easy to remember. Stripped with no vowels. Okay, so thank you so much, Aysha. It's been wonderful to have you today and to learn a little bit about a different kind of flour and something healthy as well. Thank you for joining us, and for everybody listening, thank you for listening, and for those watching.